Welcome to the Pitch Strike Chronicles. I am Tats. I'm here with Rob, and we will be breaking down all the non-events from last night. The frustration of Cashman's comments, IKF getting harassed on his way out of the stadium. MLB, did they make the right decision having a delay before the postponement? We'll break it all down and give our takes right here on Pinstripe Chronicles. All right, welcome back. I am Tats Rob, and Donald is with us now. And last night was just Mother Nature just is not Mother Nature's not a Yankee fan because it just sucks, plain and simple. And the fact that they opened up the gates, they tried to wait out the storm. The system was a lot larger than I think they thought it was. So they ended up having to postpone the game. If you're at the stadium, what would your reactions be to hearing the postponement after sitting there all those hours?
Anger, frustration, pissed off, curse words. What else you want me to keep going down the list? So the fans have every right to be angry about this. The MLB knew that there was going to be a delay because we've been hearing about it all. We were hearing about it all day. Bob Costa seemed to know more than anybody about the weather coming up this week because he kept talking about it during game one that we might not even have a game two. And as the days went on, they're like, if we have a game five, it's probably going to get rained out. And here we are once again. And they waited and waited and waited. And they announced the delay at like 10:30 or the postponement at like 10:30 or something like that. The gates opened at 5 o'clock, whatever it was. You got fans in there for 5 hours and you're selling things, you're selling food, you're selling beers, and people are going to get frustrated. And it was just poorly timed by MLB, poorly managed. The players on both teams thought they were going to play, and MLB just kept making them wait. And there were times where it looked like it wasn't even raining. And it was just so poorly done. They probably should have just announced the postponement early on to prevent any sort of nonsense at the stadium. But MLB has a tendency to do these things. They always mess up when it comes to weather because they're the only sport that has to worry about weather. So they're never getting it right, which is frustrating.
Donald, what did you think?
I'd be apoplectic if I was there and spent 5 hours sitting around spending a fortune on concessions and to get no game after that. It's mistreatment of your paying customers. MLB, I assume it's the MLB, but if the Yankees are involved, okay as well. It's mistreatment all the way around. There's no way that. I mean, there's also mistreatment of us because we're ready. We're saying okay, there's a postponement, but then it says in the Yankee website or the Yankee tweet was at 7 o'clock we will update you further. So we get to 7 o'clock. And we're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and then there was nothing until 10 o'clock. That is disgraceful. And like people were just sitting around because you're like, you can't miss. This is a deciding game. So people were just giving up their lives, just waiting, and there was nothing coming until 10 o'clock. Absolute mistreatment. I've never come across anything quite as bad as that before. And baseball and the Yankees have done these things before where. For instance, I was at a game where it was bright sunshine, and I was sitting in the right field, and I was excited. It was like a couple minutes before opening pitch, bright sunshine, and then it comes up on the board. This game has been postponed due to weather, and you're like, what the fuck? It's beautiful weather here. And then the weather didn't happen for a good couple hours, but. Meanwhile, everyone was just paying a fortune on concessions, and it's just like they don't care. I really don't think they care. Baseball certainly doesn't care, but like they could have handled this so much better. Like you didn't need the off day between game 1 and 2. That did not need to happen. Plus, maybe they need to be a bit more flexible instead of just canceling games because the game doesn't start right when they want it. Because I know it's all to do with TV, but. Maybe if they moved it back an hour, moved it back a couple of hours, they could have gotten the game in because it didn't start raining until like 8:30.
Yeah.
They could have started the game at fucking freaking 6 or 5:30. The gates opened at 5, so they just move it. They could have just moved it back. Gates open at 4, first pitch 5:30 in order to avoid what happened right here. I think that would have been a much better way of doing it, but that it's all to do with TV and revenue and all blah, 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 blah. But they could plan this ahead because everyone has their weather apps. Everyone has their weather in front of them. And they know it 24 hours in advance at minimum. So baseball could have looked at it and gone, right, there's a huge weather front right during this block of game right here. How can we make this work? Well, why don't we just move it back an hour? I'm sure they would have been able to do it. It would have been a hell of a lot better than this situation where, once again, there's 2 rain delays in the same series. I've not come across this before. It's not good. It upsets momentum. It screws everything around. It ain't good. It's just but more importantly, it's a mistreatment of the fans. That's a force people would have spent on parking, concessions, food, drinks, and no word until 10 o'clock. Embarrassing job. You should all be ashamed of yourselves.
Yeah, because we've all experienced the expense of going to a Yankee game. Between the parking, food, souvenirs, what have you. So you have all these people that are just sitting there for hours, and they're waiting. So they're all going to get something to eat. They're all getting something to drink. They're walking around the team store, trying to just kill some time. And after they spend a lot of money, okay, come back tomorrow, spend some more.
Yep.
So that leads me to I really want to take some time and just tear apart Cashman, because him referring to the fans as customers. It was something that I know what he was trying to say, where he was just trying to speak generally as a business, but you have to choose your words wisely when you have everybody in that stadium as frustrated as they were. Did you take anything? Did you think that Cashman should have either not said anything at all or said anything different?
No, I don't really think there should be an overreaction to what he said, because he said fans right before he said customers. He said we don't want our fans going through this. And then he didn't say we don't want our customers. He says nobody wants their customers to go through this. So he was referring to, I think what he was trying to say, we know Cashman has a very bad way with words, but I know what he was trying to say. He was trying to refer to Major League Baseball. We are customers. Technically, we are the customers of Major League Baseball, the New York Yankees, because people are paying to go to see that product and to go to watch that product. So I get what he was trying to say. Should he have used the word customers? Not in today's day and age, because people are going to misinterpret it. But he literally, right before he said customers, he said fans. He knows where the reason that they're making so much money. It's because the fans that go there. So maybe he should have just not use the word customers, but I understand what he was trying to say. There's going to be outrage because people react however they want, but I didn't really see an issue with it.
They use the general use of you don't want to see your customers. That's not an insult. You use the general universal you as a way to describe any business don't want to treat their customers like that, is what he was referring to. I know that I watched the video, and I know obviously in a short, small context where it says, oh, we don't want our customers to do this, it looks bad. But then if you watch the whole video, the whole clip, he's talking first and foremost all about the fans. And that's why I'm not taking an issue with it at all. It's just, should he have used customers? Probably not. He probably could have avoided it. There was no reason to add it at the end, but what he was just trying, but to be honest, I was just saying customers just before, because we are all customers. It's not the right way to treat your paying customers. So he's probably in agreement with us. If anything, he's probably on our side. So I may have issues with Brian Cashman with his moves and stuff, but that dude wasn't being insulting by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, and to get to our first comment, I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but Bilford the Habit, at least we're still playing. Atlanta Dodgers Mets fans would be happy to sit in the rain and the cold. Yeah, I bet they would.
I think that's Hobbit. The Hobbit.
Yeah, that's
The
Hobbit.
Hobbit. So, like I said, I apologize if I mispronounce it, but we do appreciate the comment. But everyone knows the Yanks will win it all. That's
Definitely the
still
Hobbit. It's
that's
the
still
Hobbit.
in question.
Oh.
It's got to take one game at a time on this. It is the playoffs; it gets tricky. So, I think that the comments are, it was a misuse of a word, but it's really not that big a deal. Really not. The one thing that was a little out of line.
What? Dude, you just argued it was a big deal. You were pissed off about it.
No, I'm referring to both sides I'm trying to talk on both sides of the coin. A lot of fans were pissed off about the comment. I could care less. Either way. I first I thought it was, my first take was that it was off, a little off color to say it, but it's really not that big a deal. It really isn't.
You said you wanted to rip into him for his comments, Tats. Come on now. Rip into him.
I did use that term. Yes, I
rip
did.
into him, Tats.
Come on, man. Get off the fence.
Come on, Bill for the Hobbit's waiting for you. Rip into him.
No, what did piss me off was the fact that rather than try to rectify the situation with all the fans, saying, "Look, this is what we're going to do for you when you come into when you come to tomorrow's game."
It's not his job, man. He's the general manager. He's involved in baseball operations. It's not his job to worry about concessions and stuff. That's Hal Steinbrenner. That's the people ahead of him. It's Levine. That's the people that deal with the stadium. And Brian Cashman is purely baseball operations. He was just talking about the general you as customers don't want to be sitting around for 5 hours. It ain't nothing to do with him, man. It really isn't.
Well, he was the only one that was speaking out, so he's got to take he's the guy that's putting himself in the forefront. If he wants to stand in a line of fire, he's got to take a bullet. So, oh well, too bad. But the other thing that,
all right,
but the harassment from IKF. I don't know if you guys saw the video of when he was leaving the stadium. Now, we all are very critical of him. We think he's not. I think the fans are the only ones that see him as not a shortstop. But is it out of line for the fans to kind of harass him on his way home? Because we have to remember when they come off the field, there's still people. They're trying to do a job. He's just not good at his right now. But he's still, I don't think that warrants having, being harassed.
It doesn't. It never does. I've been very critical of IKF, but I've also said, following all my criticism of him, that he's only doing what he's expected to do because he's playing to the back of his baseball card. He's a below-average shortstop who gets on base with singles and runs the base as well. That's exactly what he's done. It's not his fault. It's the Yankees' fault for continuing to push him out there at a position that he's not that good at when we have better options that were ready. He was the stopgap, right? That's what he was. The guys were one of the two prospects were ready in Peraza. They didn't call him up in time, and they still haven't used him when they called him up. It's the Yankees' fault. It's not IKF's fault. I mean, yeah, could he be better at shortstop? Absolutely, but he's playing exactly how he played with Texas. He's always had the same issue, playing shortstop. So I don't blame him. I don't think he's a bad person, but a lot of people, the way they were, I saw the video there. It seemed like it was just one person saying, like, what do you think you're doing going home and F you and all this stuff? And that's never necessary. The dude's just trying to get home like everybody else. And I understand people are frustrated because, I mean, think about it. You're mad. You paid a lot of money. The game got delayed. Who do you see coming out of the stadium? It's Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who's like public enemy number one for the reason we haven't advanced yet right now. So I get it. You're going to start shouting things, but at least they didn't try to get like physical or stupid. So I'm not going to I think it was dumb to curse at the guy, but they weren't like threatening him.
Dude, I've been watching the video. I don't hear anything. I just hear him shouting IKF. And
it was one guy in the background.
One guy that was
one guy in the background. I mean,
yeah.
I think people are jumping all over this because all the Yankee fans are the worst. I mean, Jared Carver's Yankee fans are the worst. I'm watching this video 100 times. I'm like, I'm not hearing anything. What is this? I'm just hearing a couple of guys shouting, "You suck." Sorry, that's life.
Right. That's why
It
I
happens
said
to everybody walking down the street in New York.
yeah. That's why I said it was
Get the
that
hell out
one
of the way,
person.
asshole. That happens to me all the time. It's just New York. Jesus Christ. Everyone gets so freaking salty all the time. My God, so soft. Nothing happened. But obviously, you're spot on, Tats. In everyday life, he's just a human being like everyone else. He's flesh and bone like everyone else and deserves to be treated as such. But I think I'm not hearing anything. And of course, he should not be abused, but I don't think he was abused. I just hear some people shouting at him. I think that happens. There you go. The Hobbit. I got beat up on the 3 train. Yeah. I got shouted at in the Metro North for standing in front of the doors opening accidentally because it was spacing out. So it happens, man. It's New York.
I just think it's funny because here's a guy, and the other thing that I heard when they were talking on the radio broadcast on the pregame, it was they were talking about how early in the game, like early in the afternoon, like almost like 11, 12 o'clock, IKF was already there while everybody was taking, and he's doing fielding drills. When they're taking batting practice, he's still doing fielding drills. So the guy's real, you can't, as much as he can't do the job, you have to give him a little credit that at least he's putting the work in and not just kind of mailing it in. Going, well, I know they're not going to pull me off the shortstop position. I want to get my job back. I'm going to put my work in. So you have to give him a little bit of credit. But if he's working this hard, how is he not improving?
Some players just can't do it. I mean, Gleyber Torres was always working in the field last year, and he just could not get it done. And some players just aren't that good at a certain position. And it's not to say that IKF is the worst baseball player in the world. He's just not a good shortstop. He's a good third baseman. He's a very good third baseman. He's a Gold Glove winning third baseman. He's a guy that most Yankees fans should absolutely love because every one of your grandfathers and your uncles that say we need contact. Well, he provides that contact and speed and good defense at third. He doesn't provide good defense at short. He should be a guy that everybody likes. And if he was just playing moderately average defense at short, everybody would really like IKF because he's exactly what this lineup needed. But he's not playing defense, and his defense is hurting us at the most crucial time of the season. We all said it going into the postseason. Yeah. Imagine if he lets one of these easy ground balls eat him up, and it costs us a couple of runs. And it's done that, and it's cost us games now. It's cost us one game that would have sent us to Houston. So you have to be frustrated with the player because, or I'm going to say more towards the organization, but you can be frustrated with both. But he can work on it all he wants. If he's not going to get better at it in game, you have to end the experiment. Use him where he's good. They waited way too long to do it with Gleyber last year. We've said this countless times. And they still haven't done it yet with IKF. They put him at third base for like one game, and they moved him right back to short. So it's the organization. It's not him. He's just playing where they're telling him to play. And if he can't get better, the organization has to be like, okay, well, you know what? We were wrong. We got to play the better option. Only thing is the better option is on the roster. So it's all their fault.
It is all their fault, man. It's not really necessarily IKF. I think fans would play like IKF as a backup. Because I think that's all his job. I think it's always been his job. I don't think he's really been an everyday standard of baseball player because he just doesn't do anything else other than make very soft contact. That's all he really does. If you use your backup third baseman and emergency shortstop, fine. I think fans would quite like him. I think he could be like a little Ronnie Torres type. You know what I mean? But there's a reason why Texas got rid of him. There was a reason why Minnesota couldn't wait to get rid of him. And the Yankees thought that in their infinite wisdom that two substandard organizations are desperate to get rid of this guy, yet the Yankees think that they've found lightning in a bottle as their shortstop answer. And that's just, I think that's just freaking wild. And the Yankee fans have got an exaggerated response towards IKF purely because of the way that the organization have treated the fans by telling us that we're stupid and telling us that the 2 eyes and the brains that we have doesn't count, and that he's actually this magical, wonderful shortstop who's, you know, the next Derek Jeter or whatever. They're just like, he's phenomenal, he's amazing, he's incredible, and we're like, what? Am I tripping? Like, what am I missing here? Because the dude just almost killed somebody in the stands with this throw. Like, what are we doing? And it's like, I don't understand, but that's why he's got an exaggerated response from the fan base, is because we're just being told that we're stupid all the time and that what we're seeing at short isn't real. And then, of course, we're going to get mad because we don't know who to get mad at. If there was a way of being mad at Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner every day, we would. But we can't. It's IKF that's on the field, so we have to yell at IKF. It's not his fault. He's just a backup third baseman, or he's a third baseman and a backup shortstop, but we're playing him as an everyday shortstop. You know, we moved our shortstop to left field in order to make him happy. We've ignored our best prospect in order to make IKF happy. That's why the fans are nuts. That's why the fans are upset. But yeah, they shouldn't have shouted him at, when he's driving his car home, but it's like one dude, from what I can see.
Yeah, one guy ruins it for everybody. That's usually how it goes. I mean, I watched the video a bunch of times too. I think it's stupid that one person is doing all that nonsense, but it wasn't like they were running up to his car, like sign this, or even shouting at him. So they left him alone technically, but I don't even know if he heard anything because his window was closed and he probably had some music playing. So anything you heard just came from the video itself. But yeah, I don't. Fans can be stupid, especially when they just paid a ton of money and their game got delayed. Who knows if they're going to
5 hours worth of beer as well, sitting around doing nothing other than drink for 5 hours. No wonder where one guy's a little bit rowdy.
Yeah, the beer muscles. But yeah, that would be the same guy if he was standing outside signing autographs. He'd be the first in line, going, sign my stuff. You know, so yeah, fans we're terrible people. Sometimes, you know, it's sometimes we just don't know when to keep our mouth shut.
What is this we you're talking about? I'm gonna go Uncle Phil on you for a second. You just said where? You said fans. We're terrible people.
Because we have a habit of
using the word we. Some fans. Some fans. There you go.
I'm not saying we, the three of us. Just
well, we're all fans, aren't we?
I guess that goes back to the customers' comment.
We're customers.
It's not what you say; it's how you say it. But no, it's not. I just don't understand how, you know, it just doesn't make. I was never that type where I got so angry at a player I wanted to you know, look for him in public, you know, and like berate him or anything like that. It's just actions like that just don't make any sense to me. It really doesn't.
I don't know. If I saw Aaron Hicks after he did that thing at the wall, yeah, I'd maybe shout at him too.
He ruined a perfectly good day that day. But now with the games today is going to be it's going to be at 4:00. Now, who gets the advantage now with the rest? With now that having another rest day, does the advantage go to the Yankees or to Cleveland?
I think it's got to be us, right? I mean, in a way, we're going to have Nestor start instead of Tyone. Even though it's Nestor on short rest, I'd rather go Nestor for 3 or 4 innings and then give it to Herman or give it to Tyone, then have Tyone start and maybe get roughed up because he hasn't really pitched in a while. So October is all about momentum and right in the hot hand, and Tyone's been sitting there. He's only pitched like 1 inning so far in the last like 3 weeks, or two weeks, whatever it's been. I guess it's got to be us because we get an extra day for our arms, especially Wandy. So,
Donald, who do you think has the advantage?
Well, there's a chance now that Cleveland could actually Bieber could potentially pitch today instead of their back end guy who we hit for 10 earned runs in his last couple of starts. So that could work in Cleveland's favor, man. I don't know. Is it Bieber for sure, or do we know who we're matching up against?
a lot of people are saying that this does give Bieber the win. Cleveland
Window, yeah.
to use Bieber, especially that he's got one extra day of one more day of rest.
Exactly. You can pitch on short rest. It's basically the same as Nestor Cortez. Yeah. So if Bieber's on the mound, then it's an advantage to Cleveland for the fact that we were about to take on a guy who we've hit very handily, and now it could be their ace. So we'll wait and see, man. I think momentum is overrated at this point, man. We've had so many rain delays. I mean, we would have had momentum going into last night. That's why I really wanted us to play last night, because we'll have our tails up. We feel pretty good. We're at the stadium. It's going to be loud. It's going to be intimidating. It's going to be a full house. And now 4:00 during the day, are those same people going to get the time off from work in order to do it again today?
Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, it could. This has gone kind of Cleveland's favor, in my opinion, because as I say, night game at the stadium. Nobody wants to be. No opposition team wants to play night game at the stadium where it's loud and it's raucous and it's going to be crazy. So a 4:00 game, I don't know, man. But listen, it all just depends on if the Yankees start hitting the first couple of innings. If the Yankees put a couple runs on the board, then the momentum is with us, and then we're going to be fine. But it just depends on how the day goes, man. I think because of Mother Nature and the way the MLB has screwed us around, I don't think we have much momentum right now.
I don't get why is it not a night game tonight? Because there's no rain in the forecast. Why don't they just postpone it 24 hours later? Just make it 7:07 tonight. By 4:00, there's no other game.
No, I think now, because today would have been the off day, right?
That's right, because they'll be traveling to Houston.
The travel day if it gets affected.
Because they have to travel.
We had a travel tomorrow night.
Isn't it tomorrow that the ALCS starts?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was supposed to be Wednesday.
So that's what it is. It gives the Yankees time to get into Houston at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
We had to travel the day of yesterday to get back from Cleveland because there was an issue with the plane. I wonder how that happened. So I don't know. This whole scheduling.
Doesn't it just seem like everything is? There's some entity that's just trying to prevent the Yankees from just doing anything. Because they just have no momentum at all this series at all.
No, it's the MLB scheduling. They should never have had a day off between game 1 and 2. They've never done it before. They're not doing it for the ALCS. Why are they doing it for the division series? It's so stupid. They knew the rain was coming for game 2. Why not just make game 2 the day after, and then you had the day off, which would have been the rain delayed game, and this would never have happened. The series would have been over because of the rain delay. All because the MLB is stupid.
It would have been over, and I'm pretty sure the Yankees probably would have won the series by now.
Yeah. No, that was a huge mistake from MLB, and they constantly make this mistake. They're always doing something that has you shaking your head going, what were they thinking? Like, no, I don't think there's an advantage to either team tonight. I think everybody, both teams are going to be playing at full strength. Bullpen arms are rested on both ends. We're going to have 2 aces on the mound tonight. And so there's no, starting pitching advantage. It's just, can the bats show up on the Yankee end? Because that's going to be, I think the key to tonight's game is going to be Matt Carpenter. I could almost see Matt Carpenter having like that Raul Ibanez kind of postseason game where he just constantly just has us in it. And so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays itself out.
Has the lineup been announced?
No, not yet.
He wasn't in the lineup yesterday when they announced it.
What makes you think Carpenter's going to be in the lineup today?
I'm hoping. I really want to see Carpenter in the lineup. I think he's got to be a factor tonight.
You were talking like you knew he was playing. I'm like, really? Damn. Nostradamus over here.
No. If they go against Bieber, they better put Carpenter in the damn lineup. Because if Aaron Hicks starts in left field, you're just begging for Clase to strike him out when he pitches 3 innings later in the ball game. So
Yeah, I mean, I did make the mistake yesterday when I thought Cortez was pitching, and that ended up happening. So you never know. But that's gonna be all for us. We are the Pitch Strike Chronicles. We are on Roku, on Northeast Streaming Sports, Sportswire Radio, YouTube, Twitch. Everybody, enjoy the game tonight. Go Yankees. Wear your pinstripes, your pride, and play hard.